So now we're going to look at finding the perimeter and area in the coordinate plane. So perimeter is the total distance around the figure. So add up all the side lengths. And then area, you probably remember, is the inside of it. It's how many square units the inside of the shape would take up. So if you think about it in terms of like a yard or a field or something like that, perimeter will be the fence around the field. Area will be how much grass there is. So when you're doing that in the coordinate plane, we're going to be using distance formula to get all the side lengths added up. That would be the perimeter. So take a look at this example here. So sum of the lengths of the polygon sides, you can use the distance formula to find the perimeter in the coordinate plane. So here's our points. We can go ahead and plot them out first. -1, 4. 4, 4. 3, -2. And -1, -4. And -4, +1. So first, make your life easy. Look to see if there's any that you can just simply count how long it is. You don't need to use distance formula. So anything that's flat or straight up and down, so like AB right here, got a length of 5. So then for all the other sides, we do need to use distance formula, or you could use Pythagorean theorem if you just imagine it as a triangle. I think that's a little bit easier. So for this side length right here, goes 3 and 3, so that's, for Pythagorean theorem, it would be 3 squared plus 3 squared equals this side squared. So 3 squared plus 3 squared, that's 9, and 9, that's 18. Just remember it's inside a square root. So that side length right there is square root 18. You can do the same thing here for B. I mean, from B to C. This side's got a length of 1. This side has a length of 6. 6 squared is 36, plus 1 squared is 1. So that's 37. Just remember it's in a square root. Same thing here for C and D. Side length is 2, and the side length is 4. 4 squared is 16. 2 squared is 4. 16 plus 4 is 20. So it's got square root 20. And then the last side right here, side length is 3. Side length is 5, so that's 25 plus 9. 5 squared plus 3 squared. It's 34 inside a square root. So we have all the lengths: 5, square root of 37, square root of 20, square root of 34, and square root of 18. We can type them into the calculator to get the nearest tenth. We're just going to add them up, though. Let the calculator do all the adding. Just type it in as square root of 18 plus, just add everything up. So you type that into your calculator and you get 25. To the nearest tenth would be about 25.6. For area, there's a bunch of formulas. There's a formula for triangles, rectangles, parallelograms, rhombus, kite, and trapezoids. So we can refer back to these as we need them. So for example, with a rectangle, if you know the base and you know the height, you just multiply them together. You might need to use distance formula to get those two side lengths, and then you can figure it out. Similar for parallelograms. Kites and rhombus, we're going to use the diagonals. So find the length of the diagonal and multiply them together. So this first example, that is a triangle. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we need to know how long is the base and how long is the height so we can plug it into our formula. So here's turning the base into a triangle so we can get Pythagorean theorem and figure out the side length. That's a 3, that's 9. So the length of AC will be 9 squared plus 3 squared. That's 81 plus 9, so that's square root of 90. Then for the length of BD, you turn that into a triangle. This side's got a length of 1, this side has a length of 3. 3 squared plus 1 squared, that's 9 plus 1. So that's square root of 10. So the base is square root of 90. The height is square root of 10. And the formula is 1/2 base times height. So the area is 1/2 base times height. So type that in your calculator and you get 15. You type in 1/2 times square root of 90 times square root of 10. So to find the area of this rectangle, you need the base and the height. So we need this side length here. That's got a length of 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 squared plus 6 squared, that's 9 plus 36 is 45. So the base right there has got a length of square root of 45. Do the same thing for the height. That's 2 and 4. 4 squared plus 2 squared, 16 plus 4 is 20. And since it's a rectangle, area is just base times height, which would be square root of 45 times square root of 20. Type that in your calculator and you get it's 30. Now we'll plot these points and then find the area. It doesn't tell us what the shape is, so once we plot it, we'll have to figure out what formula we'll use for area. -4, -2. So it looks like a parallelogram, which means we're going to need the base and the height. We need the length of the base here. 6 squared plus 3 squared, that's 36 and 9 is 45. Square root 45. Then we need the height, which has to be perpendicular to the base. So the base goes up 3 and over 6. So perpendicular would have to go the opposite reciprocal. So it's going to be negative 6 over 3 or just negative 2 over 1. So from M, to get our height, we're going to go down 2 over 1, and that intersects our base right there. So that is how we will measure our height from M to this point we just created. And that length, like we said, it goes down 2 over 1, so it's this triangle. 2 squared plus 1 squared is square root of 5, so our height is square root of 5. And our base is square root of 45. And area of a parallelogram, you can count and make sure that it is a parallelogram checking the slopes. It is. Parallelogram is base times height. So base times height. You get 15.